So hopefully we are in the lab now. Welcome again. I'm Gary B. Jr., your media consultant, and we are talking all about how to automate our shows, right? So last time we met, I was telling earlier before I had to kind of reset the stream because I think it was going to the wrong show. I try to pre-schedule everything and have everything ready for the week. And we do two shows here. We do um, in the lab on Mondays, and we do Free Show Friday on Fridays. And for whatever reason, my encoder or the stream key or whatever I needed to refresh or something like that, so it actually shows up the right show for you guys. But we're in the lab. All right. So now let's talk about this. Last time we met, we talked about streamlining the whole service by using your structure for your project and then organizing it to where you put some actions to your categories in your shows and things like that. Today we're going to dive even deeper. We're going to be looking specifically at your shows. How can we make our shows more streamlined? How can we make the most of the show? And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Today I'm just going to focus in on one or two ways and expand on how that works and what that looks like for other parts and other facets of the service. And that's where it gets interesting, because if we consider these things, it goes beyond just um, using it for a church service. This is something that helps you organize the program in a way that it's pretty much useful in any case, any use scenario. And so let's talk about this. I'm done setting it up. Let's talk about this. And what I'm going to do to get started is let's pull up the program. And what I think I will do is make a new show. All right. And we'll call this one today's 3/9. All right. And let's make sure the top screen is restarted. Boom. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen. And what we're looking at here is just Free Show. Okay, this is my Free Show. I got my own special little color scheme and all that good stuff. But what I want to talk about is, how do you organize, for example, your notes? Like, let's say you got some pastor's notes. We know how to do this when it comes to songs, but it's the same way with notes. So if you want to bring in notes in the program, the way you can do that is you would use your quick lyrics. So if I go down here to shows, and I'll do, we'll do, we'll keep it in the lab, and I'll say new show. And I got this option that says category. So I'm gonna say some pastor notes. All right. Now, in here we got this option that says quick lyrics, web search, and empty show. Quick lyrics allows you to copy and paste. So if your pastor gives you notes from the from Word or from Google Docs or something like that, you can work with it in this particular setup here for quick lyrics. Now, notice it's got these little brackets here. All right. Now, one of the things that I know that people like to do is they like to use PowerPoint. And one of the cool things about PowerPoint is PowerPoint organizes your show in a way that gives you like a title. It gives you quite a bit, right? So it gives you the title, it gives you the this whole breakdown where you have this header at the top, you got your bullets and all that good stuff, which is great. My goal is going to be to help you guys understand how you can use this in Free Show without even having to worry about using PowerPoint. And that's hard because when it comes to PowerPoint, PowerPoint is kind of pre-designed just for that. Free Show is pre-designed for a lot of other things, including that. Okay, so it can do that, and we're going to talk about how to make it do that more seamlessly. All right. And so when I go back in here, it says enter lyrics or any text here, and it's got these brackets. All right. We're going to use these brackets to our advantage. And we're talking all about how to automate our show. And the show is what people see. The show is the what goes on the screen. It was what goes on the TV, whatever it is. And those brackets there are invaluable. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go into somewhere to get some notes here. Let me see. I will pull up, and I got notes in a lot of different places here. Okay, let's do this. Uh, Here we go. So this is some notes from Numbers chapter 13. All right. And so I'm going to just paste this in, and I got all these notes here. It looks horrible, but it looked really organized um, on my document. It looked really organized. It was all bullets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I pasted it in, it looks like this. What in the world are we doing? All right, so here's the deal. So I can go here and I can see my breakdown. So I got Numbers 13 there, verse 4, verse 3, verse 5 is here. So I can pull this down. I'm gonna just enter down. I'm just putting some spaces in here. Okay, this is how I would organize my pastor's notes, really quick and easy. All right, they just gave me a bunch of scriptures and some bullets. I would do something like this. I would break it out to where each piece is separated, and I can see the number, the actual um, verse there, which is great. And I can break this down. I can break this down, and I can bring verse 10, verse 11, verse 12. And I'm just hit enter to break it out to where it'll automatically go in there as a separate slide. Verse 13 and verse 14. And I don't even think I finished the copy, so I'll keep verse 14 out of this. So we don't need that. All right, now the pastor told me that these are going to be um, their topics. Okay, so I can cut this piece out. Let's see here. I don't think it lets me cut. Let's see if it lets me paste. Yep. So you can do Command X on a Mac or Control X on a Windows, but it won't let you like actually remove it with the cut. So you can do it as a Command C to copy it. But I'm gonna put this in brackets and I'm gonna delete that. Okay. I'm gonna take this one. Same thing. I'm gonna copy it, enter down. I'm putting it at the top and I'm putting it in brackets because whatever happens below these brackets is going to become the grouping for that particular slide. All right. So we're organizing the show. So inside your show, you have groups. If you had a song, it would be called um, the chorus, the bridge, all those different things. But I'm calling mine hidden, people of God, stuff like that. All right. And so we'll take this part out. And I'm just literally, this is what I would recommend you do. I know it seems like a lot, but it streamlines quite a bit. Okay. So I'm going to copy this out, put this at the top. I'm doing all this in FreeShow. All right. That's the thing I want you guys to understand. I'm just putting the notes in here. Now, you could do this later on if you wanted to. To me, it seems like it would be a lot more difficult, but maybe it wouldn't. Like I said, that's totally up to you. I'm just taking these notes out and pasting this in, deleting that space there, putting a bracket around that, and I'm organizing it to where this is going to become the title of my slide. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It's going to become the title, and I'm going to show you how in just a second. Once I put these in, and I want to do it real time because I want you guys to understand it takes preparation to do anything well. And when it comes to what we do as a media team, whether you're, you know, I don't know, whatever you work in terms of if you're working on a podcast, if you're working in a service for a church, you want to make sure that you're prepared as best you can. And that means time. It means you're going to put some time into putting something together. But once you get your process together, once you get your organization tips together and all that stuff, the way that you do it is going to be streamlined. And that's our goal. We're trying to streamline this process in a way that makes sense. And so let me put this up here, delete that. And I'm talking while I'm working, which is crazy, but it works out. All right. And so this is some notes about these spies that went into spy out the promised land. And so this is a interesting message. And all I'm doing is copying out the pieces and organizing it. Now, as a person in media, in a ministry, especially, but the idea of media, period, whether you're doing it as a podcast or whatever it is, it means that you are the in between. You're the one in between. You're the vehicle in which the message gets heard and seen. And so you want to make sure that you do your very best to portray it, to depict it as accurately as possible. All right. Um, and then this one, I'm gonna make this one say leaders. All right. So now I've got this slide here that says leaders above it. I got this slide here that says renowned. I got it set to 2 lines per slide. Um, but you can make that be more. You can make it be 3. I don't think it'll make a difference in this situation because I don't think I have more than 3 lines per slide, but we'll say 3 for sure. And then I'm gonna rename. I want to rename it, but I don't want to lose all this, so I won't go back. I'll just rename it later. um, but you can go back here and rename your show if you wanted to. Let's see here. Fortunate. Okay. A lot of extra space there, but that's not a big deal. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit create and boom. We got this slide here that says leaders, renowned, so forth and so on. All those are there. Now we need to go in and organize this show in a way that like we want to in terms of using it for the way PowerPoint does. And so the way PowerPoint does is they'll put like a fancy title above the top and all that kind of stuff, right? Now this one here, um, that one's hidden tribe of strength. I believe that's 12. Let me see. I might have missed one. Let me check the notes. And you just go back to your notes. Let's see here. Nope, that was people of God, tribe of God. Where did that come from? Oh, that goes with this. So this one and this one, I can go here and I can right click on it and I can merge them. Typically, excuse me, I got to hold down control. There we go. And I can right click and I can merge and I merge them backwards. Let me undo that. So you want to hold down command or control and then the order in which you do it. So I select this one first and that one second. When I merge, it'll bring it into where that comes in up under. Okay. That's the important part. It brings it in that order. And I had it in a different order. So now, let me get a sip of water real quick. We got our show in some type of format. Now we need to figure out how to make it look right. Okay, we got all the content that we need here though. So if I go to my templates, I got all kinds of templates that I work on all the time. But we got this presentations section here, and I got this blur box presentation, and I got a setting here where it's got the show name, and I got it to where it says the slide notes at the bottom, and then just a blank space. I don't want it to do that. I want it to do something different. I want it to have the group name up here, and then I don't even think I need anything down there, but I could. I could rename this, and so let's go to our shows. And so it's called Pastor Notes right now. Let's right click on that and change the name. So let's rename it down here. And I want to call this one, instead of calling it Pastor's Notes, we'll call it 12 Spies with question marks. Hit enter. It didn't keep the question marks. It's okay though. All right. So let's go back to templates. And I want to use this template, but I'm going to change it. So I'm going to right click on this and we're going to select the option to duplicate. And we're going to call this one blur box presentation. And I'm going to call it group. And then I'm going to right click and edit it. So if we go here to edit, we got that there, but I want this one to show not just the show name. I want it to show the group. So I'm going to delete that out. And we will put in, and you can make this as pretty and fancy as you want to. And you guys are a lot more cool than I am. So people of God is here. So I can select that. And so now we got this slide group here, which is perfect. What I want to do next is see right now it's just showing up. It looks like that, like the words are just right over the top of everything, which that's fine for some cases, not the case, not what I'm looking for. Okay. Um, but I want to put the slide group here and we'll just do that. And then slide notes. I don't have any slide notes. So I'll right click on this and I will put a condition to it. Okay. To where it's a dynamic value. I want to show the item if slide notes is not empty. Okay. So that's fine. That's there. In the same way with this, I'm gonna put a condition on this. I'll just right click on it, show that the slide group is not empty. Okay. So as long as there's a slide group, there'll be this space here. And then for here, we can do the same thing. Say conditions, show item if text is not empty. Okay. And it doesn't have anything in there, but there'll be some text. It's a text box. And so I can put in like one, two, not one, two, two, three, something like that. That's typically how your templates will look. Um, and so now if I go into my show, we got this one. It's called the group. When I select that, watch what happens to the show. I select that. It automatically started putting these titles up here. Check that out. They correlate. Okay. And so now when I select this particular one, you'll see now it shows the title, which is from the group. And then it shows this verse and all that good stuff. All right. Now I can go back in and I can add more content and context to edit this. Now, a cool way to edit really quick is I can hit this little icon here and you notice there it is right there. It breaks it down to where I can see this slide and it shows some space because it's a lot of text in there. But I'm going to do, so Desert of Paran, all of them were Israelite leaders. I'm going to just hit enter to break that out. Okay. I want it to look spaced out like that. And this is formatting now, right? So I can just hit enter a couple times. Uh-oh, I guess I didn't need to hit it a couple times there. And then here, hit enter, and you'll see the preview of it right there. Okay. Uh, hit this. We'll go here, hit that. And I'm just looking at my preview on the left. And this is us automating and preparing our show. All right. Now, as you do this more and more, you and your pastor get in sync. This will not be something that's going to be difficult. This will be something that makes a lot of sense. It's going to be pretty simple and easy. You can even give them tips on how they can format it to help you bring it in easier to where they can space it out in the proper way and all that kind of stuff. Totally up to you. Okay. Um, I'm just doing it in a way that makes sense to me in this situation. All right. So we got that there. Now I can go back out from this view. This is the list view. I can go here. This is the lyrics view. And I can go back here to the grid view, which is kind of my preference. I like the grid view. I can select it again. And now we've got it broken out. So we got the scripture and then we got this here. All right. And so the pastor's notes are prepared and they almost look like what you would see in PowerPoint, but we can customize it. So we can move this. I can right click on this and I can say edit. All right. Now, maybe I want this to look fancier. I can bring this down and I can change this font, right? I'm pretty boring. So let's make it look a little fancier. So we can make this be that font and we can take off the item background or we could put a little box around it. So I'll put a little border on it. So we'll say border and we will round out the edges, something like that. And I'll bring this to the center. That's typically what you'll see in a lot of PowerPoint stuff. It'll be like that. Okay. And so we got that there. That's there still. That's fine. If there's show notes, we could do that. And so now we got something that looks like this. Okay. Now, I won't keep my big head back there. We're going to put a different piece of media in the background, but that's just carried over from my in the lab piece, right? So I can go here and go to media, and then we can go down to online. When you go to online, it gives you all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm going to type in, we'll say, this is about the 12 spies. What'll be something that would represent them? I'll just say a path. I might do something like that. Um, something like that. I'm looking at see a winding road or something. This one looks cool. somewhere that is a distant journey. Like what would they type? If I typed in journey, what would come up? Not anything too interesting to me. A compass. I like that. I like that. So I do that again. Let's see. And this is something I really like. I like the idea of using Pixabay and all that stuff for my images in terms of I've just been enjoying the idea of it. So I like this one here. Um, just looking for a good image. Let's see here. And if you're just joining in, we're talking about how to automate your show. And what I've done is I've gone from copying and pasting in a some pastor's notes to organizing them in a way that makes sense. And so what we'll do is I'll probably do this one. So I'll drag this on to my first slide and we'll do something like that. All right. So now we got that there. They didn't set sail, but you get the idea. You can put anything you want to back there. But this is the leaders. And then if I go to the right, they were renowned. This tribe was, this is what their name meant and all that good stuff. All right. And so I did that pretty simple and easy. Now, for what we need to do and how we need to do it, let's talk about this. For our shows, this is for notes, right? So we streamlined a way to make our notes. Now, this did not carry over. Look at my my live stream. My live stream looks hilarious. It brought in some stuff. This is default text right here. But this part, I don't have that built in to my live stream template. So I need to make a template for that too. So if I go back here and let's see here. Let's go to lower third songs. I don't even know what that template is. I got a yellow. So I think I use this one. Lower third lyrics transparent. So I'll make one and I'll duplicate this. And we will call this one lower third presentation. Transparent. And what I'll do is I'm gonna right click on this and I'm gonna select edit. And we're gonna add in space for where exactly we want that group title to be. Okay. And so we need to add it, go to our items, add a text box. It defaults to being that, which we do not need for our live stream. So what I'll do is I'm gonna put this into actually we can keep that. We'll keep that and I'll just put it in the upper right. Kind of like it was earlier. I'm gonna put it up here and keep it out of the way so we can actually see it with a real live stream. Okay. So we'll say here, and I'm gonna do auto size. We'll say shrink to fit. We'll pick that same font. I think it was called Fantasy. Boom. And then we will do, instead of it being text here, we're going to right click in here and we're going to select dynamic value. And we did slide group. Okay. And this is the slide group now. All right. So now we can have that in there. And it is set to shrink to fit, but it is not shrinking right away. Let's say 90. So if we change that size, it automatically will adjust from my experience. And then I want to round out the corners. So we'll round it out just a bit. About like that. Okay. And so now I can go into my settings and we're just organizing the look of our show. So I'm gonna go to styles and I got this live training 2 active, but it is set to lower third lyrics transparent yellow. I'm gonna change that and we're gonna do that one I just made. And I think it's called lower third lyrics with presentation or something like that. Here's that one. And I think it's did I miss it? Lower third transparent. I think I called it presentation or something like that. Let's see. I'm sure I passed it. Lower third. Here it is. Presentation. Okay, so I can select that now. All right. So now I can go back. So now this is tying to my live stream. I went into my style settings because I've got this style active on my live stream. I got this default one active on something else. All right. And let's see, this one is active as well, it looks like. These all have a checkbox. I'm not sure what that's about because my outputs, I guess because my output, they're tied to a certain output, but all those outputs are not active. That's all that means. And so if I go here, you'll see this is the live to training. Okay. So if I go here, let's go back and let's go to the next slide. And it brought it in, but it did not move that. So we got to figure out what's up with that in terms of making it move, because it's got it in there twice now. Oh, I believe it's because there's 3 boxes in there. So let's do right click on this. We can go to this style and let's update that style. And let's add in one more for the text box. That's my guess. So that's slide group. And then we'll go to items. We'll add one more. And this will be for the notes. I'll just put it up here for now because it's not going to be anything in there. But we'll do dynamic value. And this is slide notes. We'll make it shrink to fit. And then we'll say condition to show item if it's not blank. That's fine. Same way here. Condition show item if its slide group is not blank. That's fine. And then same way here. This one doesn't have anything on it, but that's cool. Show item if the text is not blank. And that's just the value there when it's blank. Okay. Let's see if that carries it over. It does, it does, it does. But notice what it does. It puts this word text in there, and I got to figure that out. I got to get that text out of there for this live stream view. And we're going to look and see what that looks like for our live stream view. If I go back into edit that, so let's right click on this, training and presentation. Oh, the word text is there. Let's take it out. Voila. And then I'll pull this over so it's not overlapping. And so now we can go back to show, go here, and it's nothing there, but I want to make it to where it's only showing that, like how we did on the other one, and it's not doing that right now. Okay. What I might do is take away the background for it. So there's no background to it. All right. Let's go back here. When we go now, you'll see that it automatically puts that there and puts that there. What that's going to look like is, let's go back into our, this is like our live stream view here. If I turn this on, I may reset it. I was working on something else. If we turn this on and we pick the right live stream, this is what it'll look like now. So online, the people are going to see the lower third. Now, my lower thirds are designed to break up. Let's see here. And to show 2 lines at a time, I think. Let me see. Let me go back into it real quick. This is just streamlining it. So I want to make sure. So I'll say max. I'll update this max lines to be 3. And we'll say okay. And now you'll see here, it shows down there the different breakdown of the lines. Earlier, I just had it set to 2. And so now if I go back, you'll see that there. And we go there, you'll see the 2 lines. Go there. This one has 4 lines, so we need to update that. Let's see. If I do edit, that's not 4 lines, but it is looking at it like that. Let's see if I break that down. Yeah. So those that are longer, it's looking like it's broken out, but I want to do it like that. And so I would need to go in and make sure that these are not cutting off the lines, but that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to show my header at the top, my group name, and then I also wanted to show the words at the bottom. All right. Now, this is for your presentations. You'll put this in place. You'll set this template up one time and it'll work every time. All right. So you don't have to worry about doing this multiple times, but it's literally you setting up your templates to make use of what you need. And so this is the template that we got for this one. All I would do is I would just add a different background each week, but I would have this same format for the template notes um, from the pastor. Okay. Now, what about your songs? What about how to do and automate your song shows? Because it's not just text that we're doing or we're working with in terms of presentations. We're also working with lyrics that are going to be a part of our show. And so I will give you all a sneak peek. This show is coming out sooner than later, or this video is coming out at some point, but you all get to see a sneak peek of In the Lab. If I go here to shows, we're going to put in a song show. And I've got a song. Let's see here. What's it called? It's called Welcome. Here we go. So welcome song. All right. So we got a song here. Welcome to Free Show Friday is the name of the song. Really cool song. Shout out to my man Claude from Canada. He sent me this song. He made it himself using AI and said we can use this for the YouTube channel. So hopefully you guys enjoy the song. But how do you automate your songs? How do you make them pre-recorded so you can just hit play, or your volunteer can just hit play and it'll play through, show the lyrics, show the transitions without you having to click right arrow, or space bar throughout every single slide? Well, in FreeShow, there is now a way to do this, and it's up here next to the title. So I got Welcome to Free Show Friday song, and I got the word to there. But you hit these three dots, it's more options, and it says toggle timeline. In FreeShow, we now have timeline recording. And notice here, I've already got my show pre-recorded. All right. When it comes to the way this works, you got to be careful to understand what to expect. And so right now I'm showing this, okay? And I'm going to pull my volume down just a little bit because this actually does have a song. Showing this, and I'm gonna show you exactly what to expect when this works, okay? So we saw how it works with our pastor's notes. We copy and paste into quick lyrics, and we have a template that's set up to look however we want to design it. But we're going to use that group name to be our header, kind of like a PowerPoint presentation. And then you go from there. You make a group header for your live stream version as well, and organize those two to where they work in sync. Okay. When it comes to your actual shows that you want to play, almost like I said, a lot of folks are using like YouTube videos, pre-recorded lyric videos and things like that. But you can make your own lyric video. I mean, and that to me is really cool. And it just is pre-recorded in the program, and all you have to do is hit play. So let's see what happens when I hit this play button here.
Welcome to Free Show Friday. Welcome my friends from everywhere. I am Gary, glad you're with me.
Now, I'm not pressing anything, okay? This is what our audience is going to see. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. This is a pre-recorded show. So when we talk about automating your show, this is the epitome of it, to where when it's time for the show to begin, all you do is hit play. And better yet, you can literally just put an action in to just make it automatically play when you get to that song, right? So how do we do this? How do we make that happen? Well, you need three things to automate your show. I'm not going to be able to do them all here on this one because in terms of on a live stream on YouTube, because it'll ding it if I do any popular songs, but you got to have the actual lyrics to any song that you want. Okay. We know how to get our lyrics by doing a web search. So you can get your lyrics without a problem. The next thing you're going to need is you're going to need some type of audio track. Okay. Some of us use CD players. Some of us have MP3s. Some of us have downloaded music. Some of us use Spotify, whatever it is. You need to have that audio track. Now, Spotify really won't work because it's just streaming. But for me, I've got this as an MP3 on my actual computer. Okay, so I like to use the actual file itself, so you can figure out how you can get that. Some of you all may have some multi-tracks that you subscribe to and you get that, or you may just have your live band, your live worship team sing the song in practice, right? So let them play it straight through and you just go through and as if they are the audio recording and you just start recording. And so how do we do this? Let's clear this out. Let's see here. If I select that, the MP3, and I hit delete, I can do that. And then if I select this, let me see if I can do a command all. Yep, I can do command A and I can hit delete. So I just cleared out my entire show recording right there. Okay. The entire show is gone. It's no longer a part of that. So if I try to play this, there's nothing that's going to happen. It's not going to do anything. Okay. There's no audio here. There's no slides or anything like that. So I can hit stop. Okay. So what I've got are my three elements. I've got my lyrics up here. I've already put them in. Okay. So I've got the lyrics. Okay. But then the next thing I need is the audio track. So where did I put my audio track? I've got it somewhere in here, I believe, in my audio. Let's see here. In my downloads. And I think it's just called Welcome. There it is. Welcome to Free Show Friday 2. I can drag that in and it automatically goes into the timeline in the audio. If you have multiple tracks, audio tracks, you can bring in multiple audio tracks. That's completely fine as well. And they'll just stack up on top of each other in here. And you can select them individually. You can drag them wherever you want to. You can start them in different places and all that kind of stuff. So you got a lot of flexibility. Now, the cool thing is that's there and it's going to be your guide for you to click through as you listen. And all you're going to do is record your strokes basically. In ProPresenter, they would call it like macros, but they also have ProPresenter has that timeline recording option as well. But in here, it's just a lot like lot easier than it used to be. Let me put it that way. And so what we would do is I would just go to the first slide, and then you would just hit this option that says record, and it automatically tracks it and starts playing it. And notice that it played it. It put my first track in there, right there, and I can zoom in. It split it right there. Now you have to manage the rest of it while it's singing. And you click the slide you want. And you just click through. And it records them down here. All right. And then when you're ready to stop, you just hit stop. It fades out. I got mine set to fade out, like I think in 4 seconds or something like that. And so now we have a pre-recorded song with the lyrics in sync with the song. And so our volunteer, all they have to do when they get to this particular show is just hit play. Okay. Now let's test this out. I haven't got to play with this. If I go to functions, I just hit something. Oh, I hit space. Let me clear off. All right. So if we do new action, I'm going to do start timeline for song. Okay. I can do choose action. And I believe there is a new timeline action. I just have not played with it yet. So if I go here to more, let's see here, show. We got some random stuff here, specific groups. We got toggle media, output, audio. Here we go. Timeline, start timeline, stop timeline, pause, and set. I don't even know what set timeline does. That's interesting. So I'll say start. Okay. And then I will close this. And this is called start timeline for song. I'm going to go to where that action is. It's in alphabetical order here. I'm just going to drag that onto my first slide. So I'm going to say start timeline. Where'd it go? For song. Drag that there. I'm going to turn off the toggle timeline. Okay, so you won't even see it. Now, here's my question. Let's see what'll happen if I go to this song and I select this. I don't hear any song playing. So I got to have that timeline open, I think, for it to work. Okay. And so I don't see it say it's not playing this timeline. So let's go to Let's go back out. Select that. We got some folks online. Let me see what the question is. Hey, Gary, can I please know where do I get the stock videos related to church? I am asking for background to display song lyrics in primary or projected window. A lot of places you can get them. You can make them on your own. I know some folks use Adobe, which you have to pay for that. And then there's another place that I made a video about called Story Loops. Story Loops is really cool because they, at least at one point, they used to have a lot of free stuff, and I downloaded a bunch of stuff from there. I encourage anybody else to go to Story Loops. I don't know if it's .com or whatnot, but that would be a good place to start. If you want some, I got some like let's see here, stock video. I got a couple of video backgrounds on my site in terms of templates, not templates, but yeah, video motion backgrounds and just some, I call them generic grunge backgrounds on GaryBJr.com. So you can go to GaryBJr.com products and you'll see some, I call them media toolkits, and you'll see that toolkit for backgrounds. So story loops, really cool. GaryBJr.com, not as cool, but cool. I'm not as cool as Story Loops. They got a whole bunch of video stuff, right? But okay, so I opened up my toggle timeline option here. If I go into this one, the timeline is on, and when I select it now, let's see what happens. Yep, when that timeline is open, it automatically starts the song. I can hear it playing. You can hear it playing now, I think, as well. And so it does use that toggle timeline option. If it's not open, it's not going to do it. But if it is, it starts to do it. And you can just hit stop here. When you hit stop, it takes you right to the beginning. Okay, it fades out and it takes you to the very beginning of the song. If you pause it, it'll just bring it right to where you're at. Okay. Now, the way that you record this is very important because it's really easy to use, really simple, really intuitive, but you can start recording at any time and it'll just pick up wherever you are. So it's going to record wherever your slide is. So if I go here and I say start recording, you see it just put a 3 right there. So I pause it. Why did it put a 3 there? Well, it's because I had slide 3 selected. That's not the slide I want. So I can go to it and I can just hit delete. Okay. And it says it was on 6. So I can just be on 6. I can go to slide 6 and it automatically starts recording. Okay. And let's see. And I missed 7. So I'm gonna pause it, okay? And so I missed where 7 is, so I'll go back here and I can press record. Let me pause it. I'm gonna get rid of that one. And we got 2 6s here, so we don't need both of those. It starts there and it goes to C. All right, right there where it says we are one, I can select this here and I can press record. And then this is slide 8. I can drag it exactly where I want it. So he's about to start talking and I can zoom in to get it right where I want it. You got a lot of manipulation, a lot of freedom here to move this. So when I zoom in and zoom back out, if I go back here and I'm going to stop the recording, we'll go here and I'm just play it back and let's see what we got. And I'm looking up here. So I know to come in a little bit closer. So if I zoom in, I'm just pinch the zoom. So it says, so right about here is where he's about to say, if your heart. So I'm gonna pull this right there. Now I'm not recording, I'm not playing it. I can just pause, I can stop everything and just move these slides around. And then I can just go back and I can hit space bar to play. And you can have it to where you can organize this show. And you're going to, like I said, this is just like doing it with the slide groups for your pastor's notes. You get to be as meticulous as you want to, right? And I would encourage you guys to prepare well, right? So you can prepare all these and record all these, but when you do it, you only got to do it one time. Once you're done recording it, you play it the same way every week. So it's worth the time, it's worth the energy to invest, excuse me, to make it clean, to make it simple, to make it understandable and in sync. Um, and then it's saved. And all you do is go in here and have that toggle timeline option open. And when you get to it, I've got the action here to start it automatically, and it'll just automatically start when I get to it. Okay. And that's something that to me makes your shows that much more streamlined. Remember, this year, the goal is all about in 2026, we're looking to level up our presentations. And this is one way we can do it. And so today, I'm looking at my notes here. We talked about automating our shows. Okay. And we did the templates with the group titles, and we organized our pastor's notes using quick lyrics, and we did pre recorded shows. And so if you pick up how to do these things, it will make your life easier for you as a media leader. It'll make your life easier for your media volunteers, and it'll keep everything consistent, right? So if you want to train somebody else new to come in, it makes it easier for you to train them because all they know is they just need to make sure to pick the show. And so I got this song, "Welcome to Free Show Friday." I didn't finish the song, but I'll come back and finish it later. I can take this out, remove it out. I got the 12 spies, but I don't have any of the shows. You tell them, hey, go to your shows and you want to look for the songs and you want to do a search. You can go over here and do a search for the name of the song that the pastor listed out or the worship leader listed out. And then you just drag it in, right? They drag it into the project and you would have it organized. Last time we talked about organizing and putting our sections in. So we would have our sections in. So we would have in a new section here for worship. Uh-oh. With a P. We'd have another section in here for message. Boom. And so now I got my message. That's the 12 spies. And I got my worship. I'll put that in here. And so all this is organized. So I can go here to my worship. I'm gonna right click on that and change the color. I want it to be easy to read, easy to see. So we can make it be this fancy green here. And then the message, we'll make it be a fancy blue. And so now they know, okay, we got our worship stuff here. We got our message stuff here. I can go there and when they can arrow through, but in this case, all they got to do is select the first slide and it'll automatically start playing. And then they get to the message. All they got to do is click on it. It is already pre-organized. All the stuff is there ready for them to use. The title is there and it's well organized for them. All right, let's see here. Say Van Chintu 7225. Earlier, they were the ones that asked the question about the best place to get the stock video. So shout out to them. They said, thanks for that. Let's talk about another question. They said, I have another screen in-house where I want to display my video on that without showing the primary window. Will it be possible to show different shows without live streaming? All right. So the question I have, Sevan Chintu, is what is the other video? What is the other video? So I have another screen in house. So they got two screens, let's say. Okay. And they want to display a video on that screen without showing the primary window. Will it be possible to show different shows without live streaming? And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely. So how do you show different shows without live streaming? So me doing a live stream, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna be able to show it to you that way, but I'll show you exactly what it would look like, and it'll be today during the live stream. So let's do this. I'm gonna go to my settings, and you need basically, if you want to have different things show up on different screens, each screen represents a different output. So each time you want something different to show, think of that as another output to add to the list. If you got two screens, two things you want to show, then you have two outputs. So you got to have two outputs to start. And I've already made one here. I called it loop. And all you do to add an output, just hit the plus sign here. And if it's not a stage, you're going to make it normal. It's just a normal output. Okay. And I say not a stage. A stage output has some default settings that you can use that show lyrics and like next slide and things like that. So that's kind of a default that you can't do on your normal screens, but on a stage you can. So you want to be very mindful of what you're talking about and what you want. It sounds like you just want a normal screen though. So I would pick a normal. And then when you get to there, it'll bring you to a page like this, and you get to pick which window it's going to go to. And I've got 4 screens connected. Now this one is off. Let me turn it on real quick because it is still connected. But the answer to your question in short is yes, you can definitely do that. And we talked about this on Free Show Friday actually a while back. Let me go here. Let me get it selected. All right. So it's got that. And now I got 4 screens actively on. I'm looking at 2 in front of me. I got 4, 3 here. Look, let me do it this way. I got 4 here, 3 here, and then 2 is right behind me right there. Okay. And let me clear that out. We don't need the live stream stuff. All right. So let's go back here. So on this TV behind me, I want to make it have something different in terms of some type of video that I'm not showing on another screen in a sense. Okay. So on 3 and 4, I wanted to show the lyrics. On here, I wanted to show a video of some sort. The question I have is, what type of video is it? What type of video is it? All right. I'm guessing you're talking about some type of lyric video, maybe? Maybe. Doing a lyric video really wouldn't make sense. So when you say video, I made my output, I call it a loop output because for me, excuse me, I look at it as maybe like a not a placeholder screen, but just more as a graphic screen that's just showing some graphics that are kind of adding to the experience. And so I'll turn this on, right? We'll go to show. There's a couple ways you can do it. I'm just thinking out, I'm thinking in my head how to do it. But we can go here. Let's say it's a service video that I am shooting. Oh, it's a video camera. Oh, that's easy peasy. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I say easy peasy, not in a bad way. Like I think that's great. I think that's great, and I think that that simplifies it for me. I don't have to think about how to like to add an actual video. All right, so here's what it looks like. Simple and easy. I would just make an overlay, and I already got some overlays. I made one called camera, but you just make a new overlay here. Hit this option, and I'm gonna call it Save Van Chin2 Cam. All right, that's better, right? Save Van Chin2. All right, so this is your cam here, right? Comes into a blank screen. This is an overlay. So you just select camera, and if it's connected to your computer, you should be able to find it. I'm gonna make it be full screen though. So I'm gonna make this box be as big as I can make it. And this is a 1920 by 1080 screen. I saw it pop up with the hash mark. So it's centered up and everything in full screen. And then you just pick your camera. So I select camera here, and it says choose camera. And I'm gonna just pick my good camera. Look, this is my GH5, I think. And so now I got something on my lip. I can see a big screen there. I couldn't see a small screen. All right. So now I got my camera set up and you guys can see it. And I'm done with that. No, not quite. Next thing we got to do is I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to say specific outputs. I only want this to play on my loop output. So I'm going to select loop output for specific. So I right clicked on the video, the camera, go down to specific outputs and select loop. Okay. And well, select whatever you name that output. I called mine's loop, but that's your outputs, your specific output. Now we can go back to show. So I got my 7 Gen 2 cam and all I do is click that. And now I got that going on. And the whole time, okay, now here's the deal. What I've got going on this particular one, if you only going to show camera stuff, let's right click on this and this output. Let's go to edit real quick. Let's look and see what's involved. It's got a loop style set to it. Let's look at that loop style. That loop style is showing background slides and overlays. If you don't need it to do anything but show that particular camera and it's set, we set it up as overlay, I would just turn this off, turn all that off. Now, it's an overlay, so it's going to go over the top of whatever you put on there anyway, but you don't even need it on, okay? So totally up to you. If you plan to use it later on for other things, then keep that active, right? Keep that all on. And we'll say, now we'll go to a slide, okay? Notice that the camera's just there by itself. This is going through the slides. Now, if I turn this off, let's see what happens. Boom, look what's back there, the actual slide. Okay, so you have control over it. to where this goes over the top because it's an overlay. Now, I don't like the way that layout is looking, so I'm gonna go back to that edit, to that style, that loop style. I need to make it to where it's actually set to cover instead of contain, because you guys saw those black lines on the side of it, right? And so now when I turn that overlay off, by going down here to my overlays, I can turn it on and off. It looks identical to the one up here, okay? And so that would be the best way to do it. So it's a service video. Boom, this is the service. This is the camera pan or the ATEM input or whatever you want to call it, whatever you got connected, completely separate. And it's a stream all by, it's a scene all by itself that's going to a certain output that you've got dictated. And so now I didn't even turn it on. Let me do that. So let me check and see what I got this one set to. Edit. This one is set to the same screen. So I'll put that one on this screen. And then the other one, so we'll close that. And then this one is going to be on this screen. And these are all just jumping out. They're going to their screen. So now I got a virtual Gary behind me there. And so now when I go through my show, you'll see that I've got this screen behind me and I'll do my live stream. So live feed. So you guys can see that too. So this is what's going on right now. I got my live feed going on right there. When I arrow to the right, it goes to the next slide. Oh, let me go to the next slide here in FreeShow. I was on OBS. All right. So when I go to the next slide there, you'll see it's changing there. If I were to go to my primary page, it's changing here. This is what they're seeing in the front of house, but in-house on the other screen is what you're going to see behind me. It just is showing a screen. This is coming from FreeShow. That actual screen is there. So yeah, it can be done. It can be done pretty easily. This is courtesy of Christopher, the developer of FreeShow. He's the one that gave me that tip on how to do that. Using the overlays is genius. Obviously, he's a genius, so it makes a lot of sense. Now, the other thing you can do, let me go to share my screen real quick. The other thing you can do is you can actually go into this particular overlay here, and you can right click on it, and you can lock it to an output, or you can place it under a slide and all that kind of stuff. So if I say lock it to an output, it's locked in. It's good to go. It's done. Okay, so it's not going to I don't even remember what that does, but it does something. It locks it to the output. I think it just makes it to where it just is going to stay there no matter what. But you can lock them now. You can lock your overlays, which is kind of cool, kind of crazy. So that's there. And so now I'm still streaming it. So let me turn it off here. Okay. But that would be how you do that. Let's go back. Let me know if that makes sense. Sevan Chintu 7225 to create an overlay. In that overlay, add your camera. Sorry, I'm out of focus. Let's see here. It's thinking, it's thinking. All right, boom. So in that overlay, add your camera. And then when you get to your camera, you want to right click on your camera feed and set it to a specific output on that overlay. So in here, what I did was so let's see if I turn it off. I can turn it off, but I went to here. So I got my camera feed here. You'll notice here it's got a little specific output option. Okay, so when you right click on it, it gives you options for specific outputs, and you just pick the one you want to go to specifically. That's all it means. So when you select that overlay, it's not going to go overlay over everything. It's just going to overlay over that one screen that you selected it to overlay, which is really perfect, really cool. What other questions do you guys have for me before I let you go? It is all about streamlining your show. So we talked about how to use your groups to make your titles to kind of give you that PowerPoint title, preset title feel. What we got here, like it's just, we got a space here just for that, but it's not something I had to format an actual template to have the titles there and go in and manually do it. I literally just put it in. I put brackets on when I put it in Quick Lyrics as that's the group. And then I made a dynamic value on this template that says, I want to put the group in as the title. Okay. And so Sevan Chintu says, oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate all your patience in explaining. I'm a beginner and this will definitely help me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it. I love it. Hopefully it helps and it makes it a lot of fun. FreeShow is a lot of fun, you guys. So when you start messing around with it, playing around with it, have fun, explore, ask questions. A lot of community around this program to help support what's going on. We got communities all over the world. Sevan Chintu, let me know where are you from. Usually when I'm talking to folks online on YouTube, let me know. I love to hear what city, state, country, whatever it is that you're from. You don't have to give me any addresses, obviously, but I love to know what country you're from or what state you're from if you're in America, just for the purposes of the mission. The mission is to reach and help equip the nations with media, to help people understand media in every nation is my goal. And so that's always fun to see and to hear. In India, welcome from India, my friend. Welcome from India. That is so cool. I've never been to India, so I got to figure out how to make that work. But yeah, I'm excited that you got to see something that you didn't know before, learn something that's new. And like I said, keep following. We got Claude in. Claude from Canada. Welcome, my friend. I was recording a video last night, so you'll be seeing some more of Welcome to Free Show Friday. That was my favorite version of it, by the way. That was my favorite version. I guess it was the slower one. I don't know what you'll call it. It was more, yeah. But that's the one I'm gonna be running with. So we'll be making a recording video of how to do the song lyric pre-recorded timelines. I already made the video last night. I just got to get it edited, so I'm working on getting that done. But that feature, you guys, is unbelievable. So we talked about how to do your pastor's notes, how to use the toggle timeline option, right? And so when you go up here to this toggle timeline option, it opens up. You're usually looking at your shows like this, but when you do this, it opens up where you actually have a timeline. You can bring in your music and you can apply your slides to it. Now, let's say I wanted to just not even record it. I can just scroll through here and I can just start dragging slides into this. I can just drag it down right there. Boom. Drag that into here. Okay. And put them where you want to. All right. So I can bring them this kind of random. You don't want to do that, but then you can move it and slide it wherever you need to. You can't bring it up and down because this is the slide layer. Okay. So you can just drag them left and right. And the cool thing is you can zoom in as much as you need to have that granular movement. See how small I can move that in increments? In music, I'm sure there's a term for it. I just don't know what it is. Klaus says, happy for you. Are you happy for me or are you happy for Sevan Chintu? I'm happy for Sevan Chintu from India. But probably happy that I liked one of the songs. I'm happy too, man. I love that. I loved it. All right. So with all that being said, you guys have a blessed rest of the week. I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday for Free Show Friday. For whatever reason, it is defaulting to putting Free Show Friday as my live stream. I probably just needed to refresh or something like that, but we'll figure that out and you'll see us on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in a major way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like and subscribe. And I think that's great. But my goal is a little bit different. My goal is to empower as many people as possible all over the globe. And there's one way that you can really help me do that. And that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped